Hi John, I have a Weil McLain CGa gas-fired water boiler. No 24 volts to terminals C and Y. Jumped yellow wires on guard dog, still no go. Put a new transformer. Nothing. Any ideas? Thanks, Bob David.
Hello, the boiler will not fire if 1. The vent damper is not open and its end switch closed, if there is 1, 2. The water pump is not running, and water is flowing past the flow switch. Air trapped in the system will prevent water flow. 90% common problem. In the pipe near the boiler. Those are the two primary causes. It's hard to tell about your CY issue without a wiring diagram. If you can send some photos of any wiring diagrams you can find, that will help. Use the attach files link to the left of your send button for that. Photos must be taken up close and exceedingly well lit and focused. We can go from there.
Hi Phil, thanks for getting back. Here is the wiring diagram. I also added a few other pictures of the old relay/transformer, the vent damper, which I also jumped to see if the burner would kick on. No go, and the water pressure gauge. A few more things: water pump not running, and red and green LEDs on guard dog are off. Thermostat says system on when I push it above ambient house temp. The burner was fine when I shut it off in the spring. Problem arose when I just turned it on after it sat for 5 months. Let me know if you need any other pics. Thanks again, Bob Davis. Phil, here is a chart that I have been using from their website. Maybe it will help? Bob D.
Hello again, Bob. What is the boiler pressure gauge reading? If it's 0, lift the pressure relief valve on the boiler for half a second to confirm it. I am having to spend some time thinking about this. We could be looking at a low boiler pressure cutout switch open, but not in the circuit as shown. And that is holding the pump off. With the pump off, the boiler's flow switch will stay open. Look for the flow switch and investigate power to the pump. Meantime, I will be scratching my head along with you. Replug that connector shown in the upper right-hand corner of the wiring diagram. Look for burnt or corroded wire terminals.
Phil, checked the pressure and lifted the valve. It reads 50 pounds per square inch. Pulled off connector, upper right-hand corner. It looked good, not corroded. Unit not that old, maybe 10 years. Checked again to see if getting power from fuse box. It's okay up to the power on/off switch box on the side of the unit where the transformer and relay hook up to. Bob.
Thanks. Look at the metal tag attached to the pressure relief valve. Most of those are set at 30 sig. 50 sig does not compute. Those gauges go bad after 5 or 10 years in many cases. What voltage do you have between R and C at the transformer? That is a compound gauge on the boiler. In red is temperature, and in blue is pressure. It is reading almost 0. If you can find a boiler water pressure switch on that boiler, we have found the problem. It would be holding the pump off. And with the pump off, the boiler flow switch would be open, and that would keep the boiler from firing. Start by re-pressurizing the boiler. Then look for any water leaks in the entire system, repair those, then bleed the air from all of the radiators and other high points in the system. The pump should then run and then the boiler should fire, assuming there is a boiler water pressure switch in the system that is open.
Fill the pressure valve, which I opened to let the water in, says 125 pounds per square inch on it. No voltage between R and C. We'll look for a boiler water pressure switch. Bob. Phil, I believe the guard dog is the pressure switch, LWCO, see picture 1. I read online if you jump the 2 yellow wires, if it's the problem then the boiler should run. Did that nothing. Also read that the guard dog should have the green LED on when powered on. Mine is dark, but should also have the red LED light when pressure low. Again, no LEDs on. I also built up the pressure to over 40 pounds per square inch, picture 2, by holding up the valve in picture 3. No change in anything. Even if all of the system safeguard cutouts were working, and there was a problem with one circuit causing the burner not to fire, shouldn't there be at least some initial power coming through the transformer/relay? Any more ideas? Thanks, Bob.
This is why I asked you to check voltage between R and C on the transformer. Let me know what you get. I will be off to bed shortly. If I miss you tonight, I will pick up your response first thing in the morning.
Phil, I answered you in a previous post that there was no voltage between R and C. Bob.
Thanks. Case you are not getting 120V to the primary side of the transformer. Look for a bad connection or a wire that may have slipped out from under a wire nut. Ensure that you are on the correct 2 120V primary wires on the transformer. Check the primary voltage of the transformer. It's possible the unit on-off switch is defective. Look for that. I noticed that at the outset you said you got no voltage between Y and C. I need the voltage between R and C. If you get no voltage between R and C, then the primary side of the transformer is not getting power. We need to sort that out carefully.
Phil, no voltage between R and C either. Also, after I filled the boiler to 45 pounds per square inch, an overflow valve opened and I had water all over my basement. We'll be at work today, so won't be able to answer till 8 to 9 p.m. Thanks, Bob.
Hello. So far it looks like the transformer you put in is not wired correctly on the primary side, 120 volt, side. Or there is an on-off switch in 120 volt supply that is off. You will have to examine for that. Just trace the 120V power from its known source to the transformer. Regarding the flood in the basement, that overflow valve is actually the boiler pressure relief valve. Had you inspected the boiler pressure relief valve's metal tag that lists its relief setting as I asked in my previous post? It is most likely 30 sig, so that when you pressurize to 45 sig the relief valve opened. It is starting to look like this situation is not a fit for your skill set. Very few trained HVAC people are skilled on boilers, so don't feel bad. The system has the following problems. 1. Water leak. 2. Air trapped at the high points in the system that must be vented. 3. No power to the primary side of the transformer, and possibly wired incorrectly. You will be best off calling in a local boiler service outfit. Especially considering that any mistakes can create a fire or explosion hazard. If you tell me which direction you are from the center of the nearest city, I will look for a well-rated boiler service outfit for you.
Thanks, Phil. Yay, I can rebuild the 911 motor, but this throws me. I tried to fix it myself because I have had bad experiences with our local contractors, charged $260 for a $5 condenser when they looked at my air conditioner. Let me know if you can recommend someone in the Staten Island, New York 10305 area. Thanks for your help, Bob.
Hello again. http://www.breezingthoughts.com/services/heating/ This outfit gets a score 4.7 out of 5 with 27 customers voting. That said, labor rates are generally $125 plus per hour, plus truck charges. It will take a good man an hour or two to sort out your wiring issue, and another 2 hours to look for the leak in your boiler system and bleed the radiators. Plus an hour travel standard rate. Figure 4 or 5 hours at $125 hour. Plus truck charge. $750 or so will be close.
Hi Phil, one last question before we call it quits. I did a little more digging and they said that the vent damper is the first thing that will shut down the system. Looked at mine and it has a switch with an out and manual setting. Flipped it to manual and the flap wouldn't move. Took it off the flue and the internal disc mechanism was okay and moved freely. Just the actuator wouldn't move. Went online and service techs can move the flap with the actuator easily. Possibly mine is stuck and not allowing the signal to be sent to the burner to turn on? I have a very damp old basement. Thanks, Bob.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert now, visit justanswer.com/YTHI.